Thank you all for coming. The regular ones, the new ones, all welcome here. Well, we're going to talk about something that is kind of a misunderstanding. First, the word itself, we use it in a wrong sense. But first of all, I want to thank you for being tolerant with me because I forgot something on the title. It was on purpose, but I want to see if somebody will come to me and say, hey, you forgot the of. You've been tolerant. Why? Because that's not too much, right? This is just a slip. Maybe he didn't check. When Vincent came up here, in the middle of the opening, everybody was tolerant, right? Because he's a child. What if that some of us, anyone, jump in here? Would we be that tolerant? Would we be that patient? Maybe not. Because then we're going to start using our judgment. We're going to start comparing to him. Say, well, who is she or he that jumps in the middle of an opening prayer? Crazy? So we start judging. Right off the bat, we start judging. And we don't know. Maybe that person's not feeling well. Maybe something that the speaker said, it's deeply against his beliefs. And he want to speak, he want to, So that's how it is. Tolerance, normally, it's being understood as bear with me, keep up with me. Not about being tolerant. We always see the wrong side of the word, the bad aspect. I tolerate you. I'm not being nice, am I? I'm not being nice saying that, yeah, I tolerate that person. No. We always use it in a wrong sense. So let's talk about tolerance for a little. Normally when I come here to give speeches, I bring a very fancy first picture, very fancy opening picture. Today it's a blackboard. Why? Because we are all beginners in that sense. We are all in a 101 class. Tolerance is a virtue of love. That's two virtues of love. Can you tell me which is the other one? Before tolerance, patience. So we are in our way to learn patience. At least we think we are. And guess what? Every time we ask God for patience, He's not going to deliver in a box. Mix with water, drink 3 times a day, and you are an example of patience. It's not going to happen. Every time you ask for patience, you're going to get tests. You're going to get annoying people in front of you testing your, oh yeah, it's a muscle. Tolerance is just the same. We need to exercise. We need to understand. We need to deal with that in the right sense. Think about, most of our brain is wired to sense the whatever is against us in the world. Most of the wire, the amygdala, that is in both lobes of our brain, capture our sense fear, danger. So we always are prompt to realize and detect negative emotions, thoughts, perceptions. It is hard to be driven to detect good because we were wired for that, because we need to survive. Think about cavemen. Goes out, oh, beautiful flower, boom. A dinosaur ate him. No good. That's the end of this incarnation. Let's try another one. It's not going to happen. So we were wired to look for the danger. We need to rewire ourselves in order to understand what Jesus taught. He came and said, all we need is love. But we don't know love because we know fear. We know being afraid. We know danger. Those are the opposite of love. We need to develop our good side. We need to understand that in every situation there is a good side and a bad side. And guess what? If you focus on a good side, all of a sudden bat goes out. It's just like lighting a match in a dark room. The little thing has a big power because you can see all of a sudden everything that is on the room, and before you couldn't. So that's how we can try to revert this wiring in our brains. Tolerance is a virtue of love. What is tolerance? Tolerance is when we can put up with people who don't have the same opinion with us, or who do not look like us, or who not live like us. It makes us see that other side of things. That's exactly what happened here. We can live with that. We can live with them. We can live with this situation. That doesn't mean that we love it. That doesn't mean that that person that is in this moment doing something wrong to you, you will love that person forever. No. But if you put yourself in his or her shoes, maybe you can understand what's happening. Why is she treating you so bad? Why is he treating you so bad? Raise your hand who never in life had a madman as a boss. And this guy normally yells to everybody. And when he yells to you, you get mad. Why? He yells to everybody. See the other side of the thinking. If he doesn't yell to you, maybe there's something wrong with you. Because you are the exception. You're not the rule. He yells to everybody. So yeah, might as well yell at me. Why not? And why do I get so upset if I know him? If I know his history, if I know that, he's just like that because of such and such problems in his life. So, yeah, expect that. And if he comes the opposite, good for you. It's a good day at work. So, things like that. We can always change our perception. What drives us? What drives our feelings? What drives our impulse and decision making is perception. The way that you understand what comes to you is the way that you react, and it will make you go to one side or the other. If you keep your brain, your conscious brain, with the thought that let's try to see the better side of that, that will shift a lot in your life. Believe me, been there, done that. Tolerance is a term that comes from the Latin tolerare, which means support, accept. But not support, I support you. Support in English is way better than in Portuguese, because when you say support in Portuguese, it's more like, tolerate. But when you give support, meaning that you are behind somebody, for whatever comes. I accept the way you are. This is the hardest one, accepting. Because, again, correct me if I'm wrong. Whoever got a girlfriend, boyfriend, is married, or the second, or the third, or whatever marriage, have you ever in your life thought, I'm going to get together with this boy, or this girl, or this guy, or this lady? She's not the way I imagined, but I'm going to change her. But I'm going to change him. And guess what? You kiss the guy and the girl, and it turns out to be a frog. It's not the other way around. You don't kiss a frog and comes a beautiful prince or princess. It's the other way around. The princess and the prince turns out to be a frog. And unfortunately, it's all our fault. Because we paint a prince and a princess, which was not there. In front of you was the same person that now you classify as a frog. But you want to see it the way you want to see it. You didn't want to see the way he or she was. It's just the way you want him or her to be. And when that happens, your tolerance goes down a drain, because then you don't accept. Your behavior is not acceptable. Why? Well, because I have this expectation that I set that you behave like this. So I don't give you the option of behaving in any other way. Tolerance is the indulgent act before something you do not want or cannot prevent. If you cannot prevent, if you cannot change, maybe, and if you do not accept, but it is happening, what can you do? Cry out loud? Maybe that relieves a lot. Maybe not. But in the end, you have to accept. You know what happened? Then when the situation passes, you look back and start feeling remorse. And that's the worst thing that can happen to us. Because, again, you cannot change. It happened. By the time that it happened, you didn't have the tools to change it. So accept it. Accept it. Be in peace with yourself first. Accept the situation and let it go. And you know a lot what I'm talking about. It's not easy, but when you make peace to yourself, things go better. I'm not saying that you're going to be enlightened with, all the wisdom in the world and you're going to download to your brain, but little by little, you start accepting facts that you cannot change. This is tolerance in a pure form. This is the way that we could act in every single situation of our lives. But normally we just do that with things that we cannot accept, things that we cannot change. Let's try to change that as well. Charity begins with tolerance. By continuously exercising your will, come face to face with the excellent results of the good. Every time we decide to be tolerant, every time we get good energy from that. Have you tried? If you see somebody at work that is looking like down, depressed, not good, pay a compliment. Try this. Wow, your job yesterday was amazing. I couldn't do it myself. How did you do that? See this person change from to, and feel the energy that comes from this person to you just because you did that. Why? Because we're made of atoms. Quantum physics. If you polarize these atoms with good energy, with positive energy, that's what you got. If you give positive energy to somebody, it will reflect back to you. Not the other way around. If we wait for somebody to give us, maybe we're never going to receive. So start giving. Start giving. Start giving like you are wealthy on that. And we are. We are wealthy on positive, good vibration. We just need to reach deep inside of us and give to people. And you will see that is amazing because your day turns out to be a great day and don't even know why. Just because you say, hey, thanks. Hey, you're doing great. Today I repost one LinkedIn post on Facebook. I just copy and paste. A lady was saying that she was amazed because she was hired by HR, and she did her first hiring. And her boss, today, yesterday, her boss bought her a Dunkin' Donuts with a coffee and a note, thanks for being awesome. I'm seeing smiles already in people's faces. And you're not her, but you're just feeling. How much does it take for us to do that to our peers? Nothing, just paying attention. On one hand, tolerance is limited by the maintenance of the individuality, and the other hand, the social inclusion of the individual. I want to maintain my characteristics, but I want to be a part of a broader community, not just myself. Me, myself, and I, we're not going to be a great folk band. It's just going to be me, and that's about it. So when you put yourself in the world and you start socializing, you are facing a lot of different people, different understanding, different thoughts, different rules. And you try to fit in. And by trying to fit in, what you do? You kill your free will. Because then, because you want to be with the cool guys or cool girls, you do something that you really don't believe, or you're kind of in a shady aspect of, oh, is that good? Should I do this? Maybe not. But, well, in order to be accepted, I have to do it. And then you do. Fraternities. We still hear from time to time that somebody got injured or worse in a fraternity acceptance ceremony, whatever they call. Why do you want to be that much in a fraternity that you're going to jeopardize your body, your life? That's how we got confused and deliver ourselves to a broader group that doesn't have feelings because it's just an entity. It's not one person. So always focus on yourself and then deliver yourself to the society. Because our actions are seen by the others who label us, but not always but we don't like to be labeled for our faults, for our modes, or for even our moods. We don't like to be judged, but we like to judge. We judge like this. We don't like to be judged, but we judge like this all the time. So always put yourself in a revert mode and see what the person's coming from. Why she or he is so mad. Why are they asking me to do something that I don't want to do? Let me tell you, when I made to university, my hair was that long. And the first day I jumped from the bus, was in front of the arch of the university, and there was like all the veterans with scissors. And it's like, whoa, nice, we got another one. I kept my hair that long until I graduate from university. It's just the way that you talk, it's just the way that you react. If I start kicking people away, yeah, I'll be bold in a snap. But it didn't happen. I just talk. And guess what? I knew what I know now. By that time, I knew like a rounded number. Guess what it is? 0. I didn't know anything. But I knew myself. But I knew that I praised the hair that I had. And ladies, you have a lot of trouble with your hair to maintain it. Imagine men. We are not made for that, to have long hair. So it's, to say the least, a nightmare. Because then you have to put cream, then you have to put this and that, and that's, I don't want it. But you want to have a long hair? Yes, I do. Yeah, so deal with that. Or you're going to be a porcupine. It's not going to happen. So it's just a matter of what you want and be honest to what you want. And of course, be willing to understand the other's positions and, respect. That's all you need to do, to tolerate, to be tolerant. I was tolerant with this, not anymore. Okay, something happened. Let's try to see if it's this guy. Yes, he was. So what to do? What can we do? The gospel tells us, the gospel according to Spiritism tells us that the true character of charity is modesty and humility, and consists in not seeing the defects of others superficially, but to seek to point out what is good and virtuous on our fellow neighbor. Everybody has something good to offer. And when I say everybody, I'm going to say, hey, Adolf Hitler has something. Maybe, yeah. Probably, yeah. But he decided to go the other way. And that doesn't mean that we're going to support the Nazis. just because of that. But he had something good. He had passion for art. He had, if you dig deeper, that's always something good. And we are in this century that hopefully war is going to be something that's going to diminish to a point that's not going to happen. We know that it's happening abroad, but hopefully with understanding and tolerance, we can diminish that to almost nothing. It's hard to talk to people that is very radical in their beliefs, but again, that's always something good. That does mean that I'm going to be killed. Like, okay, you believe that I don't deserve to live. You're going to kill me, kill me? Not really. But if that's what you think, stay away. I respect you, but you're not invited to my home. But I respect your point of view. That's what you think. And that's your culture, your belief, that's your advancement as a spirit. Because again, we are not flesh. We are the spirit. This is just the vehicle that we chose to go through this incarnation and to pass through our tests. That's just that. Next incarnation, you can be a woman, it can be a man, or it can be something else. We never know what we're going to incarnate again. If you're very good, probably not on planet Earth again. But as we are all in a planet that is tests, you have to prove yourself, you have to better yourself, maybe we have something more to learn. And that's why we're here, right? Me as well. Tolerance, it's a word used too often to represent being patient and accepting of what is different rather than learning to understand the other, truly honoring our diversity. What is the difference? What is the difference in accepting or being patient? Being patient, you can pretend. I can pretend to be a yogi for some time until something really got, me out of my way, but I can pretend to be, elevated in patience and stuff. But I'm pretending. How can you measure? When you try to understand the other, that's the time that you develop some feelings that will trigger the patience inside of you. If the other is a total stranger, you're never going to be patient with him or her because you don't want any relation. And what is the first relation that we have to somebody that we never saw in our lives? What is the first relation that we have with them? We are sharing the same space. We're living in the same city. We're living in the same neighbor, in the same condominium, so far and so on. So we are social creatures. We need to understand and to bond, not to bear. It's totally different. If we could look into each other's heart and understand the unique challenges each of us faces, I think we would treat each other much more gently, with more love, patience, tolerance, and care. Again, understanding. Again, making the effort of going the extra mile as the other person don't. Chico Xavier, one of the great mediums of last century, the greatest medium that Brazil had so far, discarnated now, used to say the life outside of us is a picture of what we are inside. What that means? There is a great speaker called Deepak Chopra that says something almost the same with different words. You want to know why you are the way you are today? Look what you did in the past. You want to know how you're going to be in the future? Look at what you're doing now. Open your heart, or a cardiac surgeon will do that for you. We develop our diseases our sickness in our emotions. We start getting sick with our feelings. Then we translate that to the organs of our body. So, the outside of us is a picture of what we are inside. If we're willing to look to the positive side of the day, that's what you see. You know that person that goes around beautiful garden, start walking around. Sorry, Luke, I'm going to walk a little, okay? So I'm going to get out of the screen. He walks around, a lot of flowers, butterflies, birds, trees, and he sees a weed. And he goes there and like, it doesn't go up. It doesn't go up. All he sees is a weed. What about the rest? What about the flowers? What about the butterflies? What about the trees? What about the fruits? What about everything else? He doesn't see. Why? The focus is on the weed. The focus is on a weed. Where is our focus, my brothers and sisters? Where is our focus? If it's on a weed, that's all you're going to see. If you look for butterflies, butterflies it is. If you look for flowers, flowers it is. Change your focus and change your reality. That's Tony Robbins, by the way. We need to let go of the image that we idealize in relation to the world and people. Maybe your prince is a fraud. Your princess is a fraud. Don't paint a picture that is not real. Choose for the reality. It's way easier to deal with. We shall not demand from others what we cannot offer. You give me more than I offer. Or we offer more than the other person asks you. Who is a father or mother here? Who's a parent here? Raise your hand for a sec.
Who is what?
A parent. Okay, thank you. We give everything to your child. We want them to have whatever we did not have. First question, why? Are you bad? Are you mad? Are you crazy? You don't have a good job? You don't have a good life? So why don't you want him or her to have the same as you had? If what you had made you the way you are now. Just saying. But then you give a lot without letting this spirit know why you are giving. You are giving because you want to fulfill your need that you want to have when you were a child, but you didn't. You don't explain why did you give those things. And all of a sudden, because your child start asking for more, you stop giving. And he or she start complaining. And you say, I'll give you so much. You never say why. You never say thank you. You never, like what I gave it to you. And this child, in the top of his wisdom, tell you, but I never asked you. But I never asked you. You gave me because you wanted. I never asked you. Did you ask? No, neither did I. And that hurts. And that hurts. Because all of a sudden you realize, yeah, maybe next time I give, I'm going to ask if she wanted, if he wanted, and why am I giving that? And the cost of that for me. Because then he or she is going to value the same way that I value the gift that I'm giving. I'm not saying just money. I'm saying love. That happens a lot with relationships. A lot. That happens a lot in life. Give what you can give without going without crossing the line. Your right ends where the other person's right starts. So let's be, equalizing the things. One who is tolerant with good people, generous with Tolerant with good people, generous with lavish, merciful to the meek, is neither tolerant nor generous nor merciful. Isn't it easy to be good with good? To be merciful with people that has mercy? It's awesome. Try to do that with that pain. Brother, sister, mother-in-law, father-in-law. Try to do that. That's the real task. The other ones are easy. You're just playing in the park. Being good with people that are good, awesome. Why shouldn't you? Being good with people that are kind of troublemakers, that's the real thing. Tolerate is not to bear, but face everyone with the assumption that they have a spiritual essence. And as such, they are necessarily endowed with good feelings and endless latent potential to be exposed. But wait, there's a trick right there. Which is the trick? They have potential to be exposed, but it doesn't say that this should be exposed by you. And if you try to expose that potential, maybe you're going to get regrets or frustrated because maybe it's not the time. Maybe you're not the person. Just realize that that's good in every one of us and try to stick with that. Be indulgent, my friends, because the indulgent attracts, calm, correct, while rigor discourage, separate, and annoy. Again, gospel according to Spiritism. Tolerating does not consist, however, in despising the rigor and discipline, but first in unlink the demanding requirement of the personal self. Generally, we do not tolerate anything that could go against the will of the self. On the other hand, we would all be much tolerant and indulgent with others if we consider how much tolerance and indulgence we need. Ask yourself, oh, that person's so annoying. And me? I'm great? I'm awesome? I'm fantastic? Maybe with people that I just met? You want to ask yourself that question when you are at home with your relatives. Because with the others outside, you put your best face, you put your best personality, you put your best clothing. At home, you are in your boxes, watching TV, eating popcorn, and somebody stops in front of you and say, out. This person's trying to talk to you, say, you're blocking my view. I'm watching TV, get out of here. Yes or no? Oh, yes. I raise my two hands. I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
But we see that in a nice way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have evolved.
We have evolved. But as long as we keep that in our horizon and we try to correct when we catch ourselves doing that, that's great. That is great. That is all we need. Tolerance is a temporary solution. Why? Because in fact, tolerating and being patient are not the greatest virtues, but the smaller. We will achieve the ideal state when we do not have to tolerate, to bear, but accept reality without attachments or efforts. Accept the way it is. It is. You're going to hear, and for you guys that are here for a long time, we always end with so be it. We don't end our praise with amen. Most of the time, we end with so be it. It's an acceptance. So be it. It is what it is. But not, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's the way it is. Let's deal with that. Let's make the best of it. Tolerance is a temporary entering solution until the man can simply understand himself. He can simply understand why he thought like this, why he felt like this. As well as the simplicity and balance are virtues of the wise, tolerance and patience are small virtues. For those who, like us, are yet neither or the other. Can somebody step up and say, I'm the most patient person in this room? I'm the most tolerant person in this room? Not really. In your home? Not really. In your work? Not really. Let's try to small the group. Not really. It's not going to work. So, yeah, understand that we are trying. This is great. We have to try. And that's how we develop our emotional muscles. That's how we develop our virtues. It's just like a muscle. You have to do it and do it and do it and do it until you got it. Voltaire used to say, I do not agree, Voltaire, French. I can't say philosopher, but he's much more than that. But he used to say, I do not agree with anything you say, but I will defend your right to say it to the end. No matter what, I will defend your right to say it. If you're going to end up with the guillotine, that's your free will. But you can say it. If you're going to end up being a king, that's your free will. But I admit that you have the right to say it. So say it. And that's where our free will enters. And what are we going to say? It's up to us. The dilemma of the limits of the virtue of tolerance can be summarized in two principles. Do not do to the others what you would not have them do to you. Do not let them do to you what you don't do to them. Simple as that. Do not let people do to you what you wouldn't do to them. Forgive our trespass as we. So basically we're saying, if I don't forgive your trespass, do not forgive mine. Right? You ever thought about this? I forgive just a little, so you should forgive just a little. That's what I'm asking. I can forgive a little bit more, because now I have reasons, right? If I forgive more, you shall forgive more. If I forgive a lot, you shall forgive a lot. So let's try to forgive as much as we can. And maybe we're going to be forgiven as well. Right? That's the law of cause and effect that some people call karma. I'm not going to get into this, this room right now because it's another subject, but that's the way it is. The word tolerance is related to the noun respect and the word support. The law of justice, love, and charity helps to understand tolerance. Justice is blind and cold and must be complemented by love and charity. When love comes to the equation, it changes the coldness, the set in stone. Because otherwise it's going to be like, it is like this, black and white. We're not black and white, are we? Last time I checked my thumb, the print on my thumb is not equal to yours, 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 anybody here. So if we have a different print in our thumbs, that means that we're not equal as anybody else. So it's hard to be black and white. There's a lot of shades with a lot of colors. And we need to respect that. We need to understand that. Sorry. The basis of tolerance are anchored in the figure of Christ. Love your fellow neighbor as ourselves. That raises a question. Do we love ourselves? Or how much do we love ourselves? Because that's the way that you're going to love your neighbor. Right? If you love yourself, how can you measure if you love yourself or not? Are you doing great things for yourself? Are you getting rich? You're getting famous? You're getting A grades? You're getting the top cars? You're getting... Is that what is being good to yourself? Let me ask you in another way. Are you going to take your limousine? Are you going to take your $10 million. Are you going to take your tuxedos, your dresses to the other world? You're going to go up with that? Everything's going to go with you? You're going to bury them with you? And you're going to bring that to the other world? It's got drive a limo in heaven? Not really, right? So what did you take with you? Virtues. And that's what we need to develop. You want to know what is missing with you? Check your reactions to other people. The things that annoy you the most in other people are mostly the ones that you don't have. And you are straight to the point with somebody presents the same behavior that you don't like in yourself, and you're not admitting to yourself that you have it. So when you judge somebody that fast and you don't know why you're so mad with him or her, maybe that's what the psychologists call the shadow effect. You are projecting yourself in that person. You're seeing your flaws in that person, and you're being very strict to that person because they're not being with you. And that's what we need to change. And that's what we can change. But not by devastating ourselves. We have to be tolerant, first with ourselves. We have to love ourselves. Admit that you have a problem, correct it. Not like mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. No. No. This doesn't work, and we know that. The reality of the other person lies not in what he reveals to you, but in what he cannot reveal to you. Therefore, if we understand him, listen not to what he says, but rather to what he does not say. Khalil Gibran. What that means? Perception, my friends. Guts. We always say, oh, I have a gut feeling. What is a gut feeling but perception? Perception. The way that you respond in a subconscious level to that person is your perception. And the way that you capture sentences that were not said is your perception. But be aware, you don't have all the reason in the world. You are not the wise judge. So sometimes your perception is wrong. But normally, what the person doesn't say to us is what she or he want to say. I work with counseling here, and sometimes it takes 30 minutes with the brother in front of me telling me how great his life was. After 30 minutes, he throws the bomb, which is not great. But it took 30 minutes for him or her to get confident in saying something. Or maybe he or she didn't even know. But the thought process that start running make that person talk to me or to any of our counselors in a different way. So it's what is not said most of the time that counts. What is said comes to your brain, and your brain has a lot of mechanisms to classify, filter, and say the words that you think that the other person want to hear, which is not the words that comes from here. This is what it counts. Spiritism, understood as a science, philosophy, and religion, give us more than subsides to respect the beliefs and behaviors of our fellow neighbor. This is because the more human being knows, better they understand human behavior, disarming themselves of preconceived ideas, systematic censorship, losses of races, castes, beliefs, and groups. You are not going to hear anybody that comes to our center or our neighbor center or any other center in the United States and Brazil talking bad about other religion. All religions are good. All faiths are good. There's no difference. We just chose to be here and to do it in our way. So if you feel comfortable in some other place, awesome. Awesome. And that's what Spiritism preaches. Do whatever you want to do. Just be aware for everything that you do that is a reaction. Okay? So that's all it is. Learn how to convert the harm they do to you and the good you can do to them. This is a great tool. And if we learn how to do that, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Learn how to change whatever comes bad to you into something good that you can give back. If somebody comes to you with a present that goes tic-tac, 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 and smell bad, would you receive it? And if you don't receive it, who's the present belongs to? The same person that's trying to deliver to you. If we don't do that with presents, why we do with insults? Why we do with bad words? Give it back in a polite way, and the present still belongs to that person. Don't fight insult with insult. You are in the position to be reasonable. You are in a position to own yourself and to be, tolerant. Do it. And to finalize, thank the charges that life gives to give you, looking to fulfill them happily. Some centimeters of remorse weigh more in our hearts than a ton of sacrifices. Again, do not turn your back when you're being called to do something. Because the regret of not done that can be very heavy in our lives. Much love and much peace. Thank you.